I am Dr. Nidhi Lal and today we are going to discuss about maxilla. Maxilla are a pair of irregular pneumatic bones which together forms the whole of the upper jaw, the floor and the lateral wall of the nasal cavity, the roof of the mouth and the part of the infratemporal fossa. So if we consider individual maxilla, it consists of a body and four processes, that is the zygomatic process which is directed laterally, the frontal process which is directed upwards, the alveolar process which extends downwards, and a palatine process which is present as a projection, that is a shelf-like projection from the medial surface. And there are the four surfaces, that is the anterior surface which is directed laterally and forwards, the orbital surface which is smooth and triangular, the posterior surface which is here it is the which is directed backwards, and the nasal surface which forms the base of the body. The body is pyramidal shaped and this nasal surface forms the base of the body of maxilla. This nasal surface faces medially and it forms the lateral wall of the nasal cavity. Now considering the anterior surface. The anterior surface, on the lower part, it bears slight elevations which are present due to the socket of the teeth present in upper jaw. In the medial side, the two incisors are present. Above this incisor, an incisive fossa is present which gives attachment to a muscle, that is the depressor septi muscle. It gives attachment to depressor septi muscle. Below it, few slips of orbicularis oris muscle is attached. Lateral to the incisive fossa, there is a canine eminence which is formed by the socket of the canine tooth. Lateral to the canine eminence, there is a canine fossa which gives attachment to levator anguli oris muscle. This is in the canine fossa. Above this depressor septi, part of the nasalis muscle is attached. There are two parts of the nasalis muscle, that is the alar part and the transverse part. So these are the parts of the nasalis muscle which are attached here. Above this, there is a foramen present here which is the infraorbital foramen, which is for the passage of infraorbital vessels and the nerve. Above it, there is a border which separates the orbital surface from the anterior surface. Medially, the anterior surface terminates as a concave notch which is known as the nasal notch, and here it ends in a pointed process which with the pointed process of the opposite bone, it forms the anterior nasal spine. Just here, this part forms the circumference, a part of the circumference of the orbit, and a muscle is attached here, that is the levator labii superioris. Here at this part, levator labii superioris muscle is attached. So the muscles which are attached here are depressor septi, below it orbicularis oris, levator anguli oris in the canine fossa, alar and transverse part of nasalis muscle, and levator labii superioris along this border. So this is about the anterior surface. Coming to the posterior surface. The posterior surface is separated from the anterior surface by the zygomatic process and a line that extends from the root of the first molar up to this zygomatic process. This ridge acts as a line of buttress that transmits the masticatory force from the molar tooth to the base of the skull. In the center, it presents few foramina for the passage of posterior superior alveolar nerves and vessels. In the lower and medial part of this surface, it presents a rounded eminence that is known as the maxillary tuberosity. It has a rough surface for articulation with the pyramidal process of the palatine bone. a part of the palatine bone is seen here. That is, it articulates with the maxillary tuberosity, which is present just above the socket of the third molar tooth. A few fibers, this part gives origin to a few fibers of medial pterygoid muscle. Above this, a smooth part is present which forms the anterior boundary of pterygopalatine fossa. So this is the pterygopalatine fossa. This is the pterygopalatine fossa, and this smooth part above the maxillary tuberosity forms the anterior boundary of pterygopalatine fossa. Above it, there is a groove present which is directed laterally and upwards. This is the groove for maxillary nerve. It is continuous with a infraorbital groove on the orbital surface. So these are the features on the posterior surface or the infratemporal surface. Coming to the orbital surface. Orbital surface is smooth and triangular and presents a sharp medial border, posterior rounded border, and an anterior border. This anterior border forms a part of the circumference of the orbit and is continuous medially with the lacrimal crest of the frontal process. Along the medial border, here anteriorly a notch is present which is known as the lacrimal notch, which along with the lacrimal bone forms the nasolacrimal canal. This medial border from before backwards gives articulation to the lacrimal bone, then orbital plate of ethmoid bone, and posteriorly with the orbital process of perpendicular plate of palatine bone. This posterior rounded border, it forms the anterior boundary of inferior orbital fissure. This is the inferior orbital fissure, and this posterior rounded border forms the anterior boundary of inferior orbital fissure. This posterior rounded border in the right in the middle, an infraorbital groove starts here, which is continuous anteriorly with the infraorbital canal that opens anteriorly on the anterior surface as the infraorbital foramen. This infraorbital canal laterally gives a branch which is known as canalis sinuosus, which descends downwards below the infraorbital foramen, reaches here at the nasal notch, then descends downwards and opens here and opens in the nasal septum. This canalis sinuosus transmits the anterior superior alveolar nerves and vessels. Lateral to the lacrimal notch, a few slips of inferior oblique muscle is attached here. So lateral to the lacrimal notch, here the inferior oblique muscle is attached here. This is the orbital surface. Now this is the nasal surface or the medial surface, which forms the base of the pyramid of the body. So base of the pyramid shaped body. This nasal surface forms the lateral wall of the nasal cavity, and it presents maxillary hiatus posterior-superiorly in a disarticulated skull. Just above this, few air cells are present, which are completed by the ethmoid and lacrimal bones. The maxillary hiatus behind presents a rough surface for articulation with the perpendicular plate of palatine bone. A groove is present on the maxilla as well as on the perpendicular plate of palatine bone that converts into a greater palatine canal. We can see here the greater palatine canal. This canal is directed downwards and forwards, and it transmits greater palatine vessels and the nerves. Anterior to the maxillary hiatus, a nasolacrimal groove is present, which is completed by the descending process of lacrimal bone above. This is a vertical groove, which is completed by the descending process of lacrimal bone from above and the lacrimal process of inferior nasal concha from below. So this groove, this canal, nasolacrimal canal, which is formed transmits the nasolacrimal duct, which opens into the inferior meatus. Just below this maxillary hiatus, here the concave part is present, which is the lateral wall of inferior meatus. This part is overlapped by the inferior nasal concha and it is the inferior meatus. Anteriorly here a conchal crest is present. Here a conchal crest is present which articulates posteriorly with the inferior nasal concha. Just below the crest it forms the anterior part of inferior meatus and above it forms the atrium of the middle meatus, anterior part of the middle meatus.